Starting live video. Hello, live video.
Hello, live video.
Are we both in the video?
You
Hi.
are. You're on that side, I'm on this side.
Hi.
Hi.
So how was it? How'd you do?
Well, I was, I think I'm a bit tired.
Mm.
Relatively tired. Did the middle pillar go okay? Because I was worried I was almost drifting off there. But
I was drifting off after the middle pillar when we started recycling energy. I was like, it's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that went good, I hope, for people that were following along. Or will be following along in the future. I think I got it out okay and without too many pauses, or it was all succinctly done. And you notice I didn't attempt to set us up in a meadow or in the tree root tunnel or a cave or nothing like that. No. It was just like, okay, well, let's think of the symbols and be there, go there. Nonetheless, I did follow along. Imagery I was getting was about a place I often go, which is like cabin in a twilight wood, and that is connected to my other meditations around an alpine lake.
Right.
But so I was there. There was my kind of diamond light, which is something they'll tell you about later.
Yeah.
When you're initiated. Secrets. Diamond light guy component of myself or what have you. And he was there. He sort of Sasquatch-like. And I was at like a wooden table in this cabin with like candlelight or a lantern, and it was not that bright, but I had papers all over, and I was trying to kind of get organized and draw a map of my inner visions, which is a really cool idea, kind of a map, because I'm noticing all these things sort of interconnect.
Right.
And
so there was your intellect working
away. There was my intellect working on things, and there was a knock at the door.
Oh my gosh.
Well, who could that be? Well, it's
Satan!
Beelzebub figure with the goat head and the big horns.
Oh my.
But
hello.
Cloven hooves, walking on 2 feet and 2 legs.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? I'm not going to invite you in. But I don't know if his horns would have fit in there.
Well,
either, but
not always a good idea to invite the devil in.
So, but look, could we meet out front and it's like it was like started a fire with magic, and he said, "Oh, I can do that." He's got his torch. He starts the fire, and so we're sitting around a campfire chatting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow, what were you chatting about?
Well, just this and that. It seems, certainly the idea came up during that portion of the meditation, whether we were chatting about it or not, that I could really be meditating more, because right now this is like all the meditation I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be retired, and I should make some time for meditation. And I was thinking I would like to try in the mornings, like after I awaken.
Yeah.
And as a meditation time. And the idea that it would even be worthwhile if it's just like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And because there's so many different things I want to investigate in my developing inner meditative world.
So you can map it out.
Map it out better. And and I was thinking I also have, I've been, there's been a few meditations now where I've been kind of meeting a guide and stuff. So, there's things I would like to, don't need to, and I'm not going to try, but I just should do, could do.
The Inner Worlds of David Sanker.
Inner Worlds of David. And I also thought of putting together a course.
David in the Spheres.
David in the Spheres. A course around, that's plenty of time for that. A class around the ceremonial magic, more of a class, developing that.
Yeah.
And but that it's sort of intrinsic to ceremonial magic that it's an eclectic topic.
Yeah.
I mean, we know couple people in our locale that are into it, but they're into a different way than us. And of course, our one friend that would participate with us is passed away, or two of them now passed away. So they're on the other side there, but they're not on this side to study with and work with. But it occurred to me that I might have a couple of people who might be interested. So that I'm not going to jump on this right away. Even if I can find a couple of people who sincerely want to pursue the course, then that would be a fun way for me to develop the course,
right?
And kind of tutor, find a couple of people to tutor, and if I can get a little bit of recompense out of those efforts, that'd be great. This was a great me while chatting with the devil, and so. Which is interesting, and I think of it now, okay, so I had this idea to kind of make money with this pursuit of ceremonial magic's teaching and from the devil. Okay, well, that sort of fits.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was, and so that scene developed, and I was back, and so I don't, that was, I guess there was some other exchange, but it wasn't sort of solid information or nothing I really remember now, but it was sort of sitting with this being and I'm sure there was something more. It's difficult to pin down, but it was kind of about this idea that I have over the decades collected so much data, and part of that is about getting all that organized and sort of not only but physically organized in front of me, but also organized in the noggin too.
Right.
And then just sort of the challenge came up of applying everything in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And wow, what a concept.
Wow, that's the bell ringer there, right?
Yeah.
You learn all this stuff, do you apply it to your life?
Yeah. Well, at least, I find it easier to apply in a non-intellectual way, like in the Venus way or in the Temperance way. I can apply it with point of view, or I can apply it from a higher perspective point of view, or I can apply it from kind of a heart way, or apply it in a perspective kind of thing on life to not, keep me from getting stressed and not getting angry,
Right.
Those sort of things. They're more, it's an emotional kind of application that comes more naturally.
Yeah.
But that could be certainly balanced out with a practical and maybe more intellectual application as well. And developing kind of learning techniques that I've probably already learned and been taught, but to apply about the knowledge of. But then you get into the devil stuff, that the devil's saying, come on, work with it. How you're not going to develop, it's not going to develop unless you work with it. I may know some things about how people can put seeds of thought in other people's heads, or direct kind of thought forms in day-to-day meetings with, in situations. But there's always this ethical kind of thing about, I think the problem is not in just in the utilization of these quote unquote techniques, but in the purpose that they're employed. the
Right.
problem
The
comes in.
intent.
The intent is where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
Of course, the intent.
Always
Is the
comes down
intent-
to the intent.
Is the intent to just kind of make a point, or is the intent to make things go smoothly, or is the intent to help someone reach a higher perspective? You know, those are intents that are fine. It's like the word manipulation. I mean, we can manipulate somebody. It's manipulative to get somebody out of an addiction. It's manipulative to get somebody out of depression. It's manipulative, but that's not bad manipulation.
No.
People pay big monies for those sort of manipulations.
Yeah.
Please manipulate me.
That's what psychiatry
Psychiatry
is.
is all about.
Yeah.
Well, psychology anyway. Psychiatry is more about
Psychiatry
give them drugs, but
well,
yeah. Both are manipulations.
Yeah.
They're all manipulations.
Yeah.
So this idea of, I think that was part of my discussion about use it, and you know, just because, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, I mean, just because you may know that there's techniques of projecting thought forms, that doesn't mean I'm going to use it to get my way sexually or sell a car. You know,
Well,
but there's other.
you could be a really good car salesman.
There's more positive ways to use these techniques.
Yes.
Yeah. And like if you can put some behavior in somebody's head, then you know maybe you can also put some positive behavior or a positive reflection or just a positive idea in somebody's head too. So that it went from that back to these maps and I wasn't sitting outside. It was somehow, I don't remember all the little details of the transitions. It wasn't that sort of sequential.
Right.
And it came, and before I finish up, but that was about it. And I also thought of different beings I've met in my inner work visions that have been in this level and they're on that level. And so, you know, kind of this mapping is going to look like Star Trek chess, all these different levels.
Right on. That's great.
But it occurred to me to mention that it wasn't mentioned in the preliminary discussion about the devil having a lot to do with time. Ruled by Capricorn, Saturn,
right?
And his title, Child of the Lord's. What is that again?
I don't know. He's also Prince of the Powers of Air.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. You took out my.
I did.
Well, I can't find it if you took out my bookmark, Dave. There it is. Titles. The Lord of the Gates of Matter and the Child of the Forces of Time.
Of the Forces of Time. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was doing some other reading lately, and it's about the ego, human perceptions. You know, and Paul Foster Case calls it talks about common sense. You know, people refer to, well, that person doesn't have any common sense, or common sense, you know, tells you. And that actually, common sense is pretty common. And common sense is kind of ego mind, is this idea of that our ego mind freaks out when it is kind of becomes unstuck in time.
Right.
Because the whole, you know, time, I think is, you know, mathematically as well as spiritually, and once again, how science is getting involved in spirituality. But, you know, even science will tell us that time is sort of a limit of our perceptions.
Yeah.
Of our human intellect. Time is a limit of our perceptions. It is not necessarily a fact. So that this idea that time is part of the devil's playground, the joke,
Right.
the limits, the
Yeah.
facade, the mask that is
Mm-hmm.
put on, and that things would exist without such strict time, causal time, but things don't happen without that being so entrenched in matter that you can measure time. Because the moment becomes an expansive, and again, and this is also where spirit and science, like they talk, Zen is all about being in the moment, and that power is in the moment. And Abraham Hicks talks about the power in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the moment, you can take a new perspective.
Right. And things will happen in the
things
moment.
will happen in the moment.
Things are out there, and they happen when you and the thing
come together, collide in time and space in the moment.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that stuck in matter, and you don't have time, linear time, the moment becomes obtuse and not a point of realization.
Becomes illusion.
So it kind of gets, so just anyway, the time is an illusion, is illusionary and a limit our perceptions, but it is also kind of the whole kind of hinge of the material world. If that makes sense. I don't know, it's kind of, I'm not talking like a mathematician here, but
wow, that's going out there, but I see what you mean. Yes.
Okay, that's all.
Okay. Well, so you want to hear about mine now?
Yes. Were you starting to take notes already?
Well, only because I didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
It was not very distinct. It was very like at the end of the middle pillar, I was just off somewhere. I don't know. It was like a wandering kind of not really in a place, but I was when I did finally find something, it was just kind of wandering. And when I did finally find someone, it was the devil guy, but he was just sitting back, and I found him because he was holding the torch. And I realized that I had chains on me, and I proceeded to start hammering away at these chains with a rock to try and break them. And I would try, against the ground, and I would try 2 rocks together, and I was trying all sorts of different methods to break this chain. And then it was like a realization that I don't need to break the chain, that I can just take the chain off. I don't need all that physical effort to remove that chain, to break that chain, when it can just be, it's really, I could just shimmy out of it.
Yes.
It's just loosely hanging there. And so that's basically what I wrote down, was that break through the chains that bind you, smashing chains. Sparks were flying. There were little fires everywhere, and they were like startling. And then it was just when the little fires started, and it was like, when you get hit with a sparkler, and that like, ouch, ouch. That's when I realized that it's not necessary. I can just we can just lift them off. And you just lift them off by taking action, not doesn't have to be physical action. It can just be like mentally lifting yourself up, and the change will fall away. So raising yourself up, allowing yourself to go up. Yeah. So, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah. It was, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't have all the maps and everything. You did. I didn't have them come knocking on my door. Hi, Satan. Yeah. So that's that.
Leviathan, I guess. Beelzebub. Who's the goat guy?
The goat guy, Beelzebub. Yeah. I think so. If you go by the Church of Satan, guys.
Yes. Yeah. Or the.
So that's it. We're wrapping it up for tonight.
Yeah.
Let us know if anybody's out there.
Yeah.
How your night went and how your meditation went. And we see you
next week.
Next Tuesday for
the tower.
The tower. Boom!
I'm going to post on the Serendipity site. I always post this. There's this post-punk band out of Vancouver called No Means No.
Yes.
And I saw them during their early gigs when they were only a two-piece of a drummer and a bass player and singing. And I guess one of their early gigs where it was half just the two brothers and then the guitar player came in for the second half of the show. But anyway, I bring it up because they have a song called The Tower and about the tarot card. And It's really cute. And
you'll see it if you tune in.
I'll put it on there because it's as research for The Tower. There's a punk song about it.
Yeah.
It's rather exciting.
Okay. So, bye. David's going to turn you off now.
Okay. Bye. Couple watchers. Devin.